Hello, welcome to Census Data for Small Business. This is Elizabeth Schmidt with Wright Library, and I'm really happy to have Tim Sarko here with us today to talk about how business owners can use the census data to help them. He's a Data Dissemination Specialist from the U.S. Census Bureau. Tim?
Okay, thank you. You can see my screen, right? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. I'm going to talk about census data for small business. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you our Census Business Builder, which is a tool to show you where to locate a small business or to research a small business. But before I do that, I just wanted to show you a few things that go in so you're aware of what kind of data that you'll be looking at when you go into the Census Business Builder tool. Basically, we have county business patterns, the American Community Survey, economic census, and non-employer statistics. Those are the main sources of data that go in. I mean, there are others, but those are the main sources of data that go into the Census Business Builder. And then I'm going to briefly show a NAICS search, to search for your business, and I'll do the demo. This just shows you the survival rate of businesses by year, started a number of years since starting. And I only have this out to 2015, but the main point of this is to show you that if you look at year 5, roughly 50% of the businesses are gone by year 5 since they started for all years. And some of the reasons that these startup businesses fail is because you start the business for the wrong reasons. You know, your heart isn't into it. Poor management, insufficient capital, the wrong location, lack of planning, and maybe you get overexpanded. And there's no website or no social media presence, which is very important. The census data can help with the reasons 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. This just shows you, it kind of goes back to the no website presence. This shows you e-commerce sales all the way from 2011 to 2020. And if you look, e-commerce sales has gone up basically every single year. If you look at 2020, it's upwards of 16% of all retail sales is e-commerce sales. So it's very important to have a website. And to show you some of the data that we have for small business people, I want to set up a scenario, and my scenario for this one's going to be, I'm saying that I'm getting into a landscaping business. I'm looking in Southwest Ohio, and I want to start a new landscaping business. I want to find the best location where I can start my landscaping business. So on the Census Bureau website, census.gov, you can go on NAICS. You can click on Find a Code, and you can click on NAICS Lookup. And when you know, I mean, you don't have to know your NAICS. You can type in, and here I typed in landscaping, and it'll give you the definition of that NAICS definition. So it tells me landscaping services, and it tells me some of the things that are involved in landscaping. And then it gives me what the industry on the bottom, what the industry is comprised of. And there's more than that on the screen, but this is just the top part of it. It'll give you the cross references of different things about landscaping, everything you want to know. So if you ever want to look up, you know, how does your business fit, what's your NAICS code, here's the place to do it. First off, we have the first source of data that you'll see in Census Business Builder when I show you it will be county business patterns. County business patterns The Census Bureau keeps a ledger of all small and multi-unit businesses across the United States. It's constantly updated. We do the economic census every 5 years, and that's an economic census of 4 million businesses nationwide. So all of that updates county business patterns. And what you get at the county and zip code levels, you get the number of establishments, the number of employees, and then you get payroll data. It doesn't give you revenue data. So here's county business patterns. And what I did here was I took 6 counties in Southwest Ohio and I pulled the county business patterns data for those counties just to show you what it entails. So you can see this is for landscaping. So, and I highlighted Montgomery County. Those are highlighted because those are the highest values in the table. You can see, for instance, Montgomery County has 141 landscaping businesses. These are businesses with employees. So it has 141 landscaping businesses. They have 1,104 employees, and that's their payroll data. They have an annual payroll of over $39 million. And the least amount of, you can look at like Preble County has only 11 landscaping businesses, and they have 76 employees. So using county business patterns, you can get a feel for what, is that county already oversaturated with businesses that I want to open? And, and how are they doing? What's their payroll? You can also go down to the zip code level with county business patterns. Here, I chose some zip codes, and you can see the employment size per zip code. So for instance, in 45410, there's 4 landscaping businesses. 3 have less than 5 employees. So they're relatively small in that zip code. But if you look in 45414, you can see that it has some bigger ones. There's 3 with 20 to 49 employees. So you can see if you look at a county and then you want to look at a zip code and see what's your competition, what's already there, what's the size of the establishments that are already there. Now, we also have non-employer statistics. These are businesses with no employees. These kind of go hand in hand with county business patterns. County business patterns are for those with employees, and non-employers, they have no employees. So you can use those together to get the big picture of what's going on. So for instance, non-employers they provide data, as I said, with no employees. Businesses with no paid employees make up 75% of all businesses in the United States, but they account for less than 4% of the revenue. And as I said, use county business patterns and non-employer statistics together. So similar to what I did with county business patterns, here's non-employer statistics. I pulled the data for the 6 counties in Southwest Ohio. And you can see by the population size, Montgomery County naturally has the most, 676 sole proprietorship landscaping businesses. And they make over 15 million, almost 16 million in revenue. And again, Preble and Darke County are the lowest at 72 and 74. Landscaping businesses with no employees.
And Tim, just to ask a question.
Yeah.
So these non-employers would not be represented in the county business patterns and the zip code business patterns.
No.
Is that right?
No, they're not. That's why
Okay.
you should use them together.
Okay.
If you want to look at a county, look at county business patterns and non-employer statistics.
Got it.
Now, we also have the economic census. It's quinquennial, meaning it's every 5 years. It goes on in every year that ends in a 7 and a 2. We're still getting the data out for 2017 because it's 4 million businesses nationwide. And what you get from the economic census is you get your employer data, the number of establishments, the revenue, you get payroll, and you get the number of employees. You also get non-employer data as well, the number of establishments and the revenue. You also can go down to the zip code level with the economic census as well. That'll give you revenue by range and the number of establishments. So here is I pulled the same thing, 6 counties in Southwest Ohio. Here's the economic census data. And what I did here was on the left side, you see the employer data. This is all economic census data. On the right side, these are my own calculations. You can see that by sheer size, population-wise, Montgomery has the most landscaping businesses, has 140 establishments, 1,112 employees. It has total revenue receipts of over 111 million. And then you got payroll data. And then I looked at receipts per establishment, which the Census Business Builder will do for you. You don't have to do it. But here I did it myself just to show you. Receipts per establishment are kind of indicative of how big the landscaping business is. So evidently, maybe Darke County has some bigger landscaping businesses because they have the highest receipts per establishment. And receipts per employee is how labor intensive it is. Greene County has the most. And again, it's kind of indicative of Darke County having bigger landscaping businesses because they have 11.3 employees per establishment. And payroll per employee is kind of indicative of approximation of an average salary, which is the highest in Greene County, but it's very close to Darke County. So you look at this, you think like, okay, maybe Darke County is looking, semi good. You can also go down, and these are just picked some zip codes. You can go down to the zip code level with the economic census. In here, when you use the zip code level for the economic census, you're looking at the revenue size. So for instance, there was 6 landscaping businesses in 44017, and 4 of which were the entire year. But you can see that 1 was between 500 and 999,000. And then again, you can look at 44130, for instance, and you can see that, you had a couple big ones. There's 1 that's 250 to 499, or 2, and there's 2 that are 500 to 999. So all this, county business patterns, non-employer statistics, and the economic census, you can use to see, what is there, what's in those zip codes, what's in those counties, what's in the zip codes, how well are they doing? Now, kind of switching gears, we do have the American Community Survey. We started this basically in 2005. It's an ongoing survey. It's sent to 3.5 million addresses per year. So that's like 275,000 a month. We do visit group quarters such as nursing homes and college dormitories. You can get critical information that we previously collected on the census long form all the way down to the block group level. So basically down to your neighborhood level. It covers 35 topics, supports 300 known uses, federal government uses. And it's important to know the data, we release the data twice annually, 1-year estimates and its 5-year estimates. Here's the content of the data topics. So, for instance, demographic characteristics on the left, you can get age, sex, race, Hispanic origin. Or if you look at the social characteristics, if you wanted to know educational attainment in your county, in your city, in your neighborhood, grandparents as caregivers for their grandchildren, how many veterans are there? You know, what's the disability status and what kinds of disabilities people have? What languages do people speak at home, for instance? And we have any number of housing characteristics as well. You know, do people own or rent their homes? When were the structures built in your county and your city? What are the homes worth? Taxes and insurance, utilities, and mortgage and monthly rent. And then we've got any number of economic characteristics as well, such as household income. You know, what jobs do people work? What industries do they work in? What's poverty like? How long does it take people to get to work, and how do they get to work? So there's any number of data items that are available from the ACS. And as I said, this just shows you we discontinued the 3 years. So this is just showing you we have 1 year and 5 year estimates. The 1 year estimates are for populations of 65,000 or more. And the 5 year estimates are for all areas. So if you're looking at like a census tract, a small county, you know, you're going to have to use the 5 year estimate. If you're looking at like, let's say like Ohio, a bigger population, or like Cleveland, which has a population over 65,000, you can use the 1 year or the 5 year estimate. The big difference is the 1 year is more current, and the 5 year is more precise because there's more data going into the 5 year estimate. This shows you, I just wanted you to be aware of our geographical hierarchy and the availability of the ACS. The American Community Survey estimates are available all the way down to the block group level. So if you think of like your neighborhood, and you think of a block in your neighborhood, that would be kind of indicative of a census block. Then if you take like 3 or 4 of those blocks, that'll make up a block group. And then a number of block groups, like, you know, 3 or 4 block groups make up a tract. And a tract has an optimum of 4,000 people. So if I wanted ACS data, any of the data I showed you for all census tracts in Montgomery County, I could easily do that. Or I could do all zip codes in the United States and get whatever kind of data I want. So here, I wanted to show you that I'm taking the same economic census data that I showed you previously, and this time on the right-hand side, I'm combining it with the American Community Survey data. So you can see the landscaping businesses. It's the most in Montgomery at 137. They have the highest receipts. And again, dark's the highest receipts per establishment. But now I pulled the American Community Survey data that I'd want to look at if I was considering opening a landscaping business, researching landscaping business. I would want to see like median household income. Maybe I want my landscaping business to be where, you know, there's higher median household incomes. So that evidently is in Greene County at $68,720. Or, you know, I'm not, as a landscaping business person, I'm not interested in renters. I'm interested in only owner-occupied housing units. Where are there the most? And that, of course, by population, that's in Montgomery at 136,792. And you could do, and we do have this in Census Business Builder, owner-occupied housing units per landscaping business as well. And again, you know, maybe I want to look at where are the most valuable homes, where are the highest dollar homes, because that's where I want to, you know, I want to open my landscaping business to get the most for my buck, for instance. So Greene County has the highest median home value at 173,000. And then in Census Business Builder, it has an awful lot of consumer expenditures from, I mean, Census Business Builder is all It has ACS data, all the economic data I showed you, but it also has ESRI data on consumer expenditures. So here I pulled the consumer expenditures for what people spent on lawn and garden. You know, maybe that's something I'd want to know if I'm going to open my landscaping business. That would be, you know, where is the highest where people spend the most on their lawn and garden? And evidently this time it's in Greene County at $475 a year. So the point with all this is I take all that data, where the businesses are, how many there are, how they're functioning, along with this American Community Survey data that, you know, would be relevant to what I'm looking at, and use that as well. And finally, you can also, here I went into our main data tool, data.census.gov, and I pulled up ACS data, and this is the population 65 and over in Montgomery County by census tract. So you can see in the blue areas, see if I don't know what kind of business it would be, but if I had a business where I was interested to know where are the 65 and over population the most, I could easily look at these blue areas in Montgomery County, these blue tracts, they have the most 24 to 45% of 65 and over. So I could actually look at any ACS variable I want on a map to see, you know, where it's greatest, for instance. And now I just kind of want to give you just a brief walkthrough of the Census Business Builder, just to kind of tie this all together. And since I showed you the data that's in the Census Business Builder, now I kind of want to introduce you and show you a brief overview of it. So just a second.
So Tim, you can access this at census.gov. Is that right? Okay.
Yes. How do I get back? Okay, here we go. No, this one. Okay, hopefully you can see that. This is Census Business Builder. You go on census.gov and you'll see a thing that says data tools and apps, and all our data tools and apps are in alphabetical order, and it's called Census Business Builder. So it's fairly simple to find. Basically what you have, there's two steps. It's very simple to use. The first step is to choose the business you want to research. There is basically like 54 businesses underneath these 6 broad categories. And they put these 6 broad categories there because these are the most commonly opened businesses in the United States. If you don't see your business there, you can always scroll down and type your business in, a title, a keyword, a NAICS code. But for my purposes, I'm going to stay with landscaping, and I know it's under there, so it's here. So I'm going to click on landscaping. Right away, you see some data. You see that there's 101,567 landscaping businesses in the United States. And the second step is to set your location. So I'm going to type in, for purposes here, I'm going to type in Montgomery County. And you can see it down here, so I choose it. Always choose from the type ahead overlay, so you make sure you get it right. And then right away, these become active. You got go to map and create a report. I'll show you create a report in a minute, but I recommend go to the map first. And what it's going to do, it's going to repaint the map according to, in this case, total population. And what I'll do is I'll zoom out. maybe once or twice. Maybe twice. So right now we're on Montgomery County, and the default variable that it goes to is total population. So you can see that you have total population, and if I click around here on any county, it'll switch counties. It'll tell me, here's Preble County, 41,093 population. And what you got down here is your dashboard. You'll have some data on your dashboard. For instance, it has population. Whatever variable you choose, it'll be shown here. And you have a graph of total population. And then you have some statistics here.
Hey, Tim, can I ask a question really quickly?
Yeah.
The population, are those based on the American Community Surveys that come out yearly or every 5 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that comes out twice a year, 1 year and 5 year estimates every year. And that's what, yeah, that's what that's from.
Thanks.
And what it's doing, it gives you these statistics here. And you can, like, here's median household income for Montgomery County, 51,542. And then you see high school graduate, high school degree or higher, 90.1. And then home ownership, 61. And then there's 141 landscaping businesses in Montgomery County. So this is ACS data, and this 141 is county business patterns. And what you can do is you can hit the star, and that'll make median household income. It'll paint the map according to median household income. If I choose the pencil, that'll change the variable that I see here. If I don't want to see median household income, say I want to see poverty data here, I can click on the pencil and change that to poverty. So it just, you know, you can change whatever you want to see on your dashboard. So for now, well, first of all, we're on landscaping. We can change the industry if I wanted to by here. I can simply click on a county or change the county up here or change whatever geography I want, a city. I can go down to the city, town, zip code, track if I wanted to. Right now we're looking at total population, and you have, and this is a recent addition, they made a second variable available. So if I chose second variable, I could choose whatever variable I want, but let's say I want to see median household income. So it'll repaint the map with median household income on it too. So you can see now these circles are median house. The bigger the circle, the higher the median household income. These two variables, the population and median household income, are independent of each other. So you can see them both on the map at one time. And you can see that Montgomery County has a median household income of 51,542 along with their population. So if I click on another county, I could easily see what that county's median household income and population as well. Here's Clark County, for instance. So that's where the second variable comes in if you ever wanted to use it. The most important on here is the map variable. You're just going to tell it what you want to see on the map. So right now we're on customers. This is your ACS data. So we're on demographic characteristics. If you look, you see male, percent male. You have your different age groups. If you wanted to look at, you can look at median age. You have your different races as well. You can look at that on the map. And then you've got Hispanic origin as well. Then we have any number of socioeconomic characteristics from ACS, incomes, high school graduate, bachelor's degree, household size, poverty, labor force, disability, health insurance, vehicles, how long it takes people to get to work, any number of socioeconomic characteristics you can look at. And we also have a bunch of housing characteristics as well. So if you wanted to see, you know, how many, like in my case, maybe I want to see where are the owner occupied housing units. I would click that. You can look at the type of houses, single, detached, broadband, so who has broadband internet, rent, when were the homes built. So there's any number of ACS data that you can look at on this map. And then we also have businesses annual. That's what I talked about, county business patterns, the economic census, the non-employer data. That's what this is. So, you know, for instance, I want to know, where are the landscaping businesses? Where are they the most? Maybe I'd want to look at all employer establishments, total employment, and we got revenue, and we got some ag stuff. We're not on an ag NAICS code, so this ag stuff is lined out. Here's your non-employer data as well. You've got, you know, non-employers, their revenue per employer, non-employer. And I really like these key ratios. For instance, you know, you'd want to know, you know, how big they are, average employment per employer, payroll, you know, what's the average revenue per landscaping business, for instance, the total number of employers and non-employers, and their total revenue as well. And I'm not going to go through international trade because we're not on a NAICS international, you know, a trade NAICS code. Businesses quarterly, you can also look at that. That's coming from BLS. It comes from the quarterly census of employment and wages. And that gives you the number of establishments, employments per quarter, and wages. So maybe you'd want to know, you know, what kind of wages are these landscaping businesses providing? And you can look at different things for the businesses, the change, percent change, and the location quotient. Location quotient is basically, it measures a region's industrial specialization relative to a larger geographical unit. So, you know, if it was like a location quotient of 1, like in something like mining, means that the region and the nation are equally specialized in mining. That's what that tells you. We also have workforce. This is available only basically on the sector level. That's why it's lined out. But this is coming from the Census Bureau. It just gives you hires, separation, and monthly earnings. And then we have building permits. Building permits, they're indicative of future growth. So, you know, if you're looking at an area, maybe you want to look at the building permits to see what kind of future growth is, you know, can be expected in that area based on them taking out building permits. And this is what I was telling you before. You can look at any number of consumer expending. This is from Esri. If I wanted to see, you know, my landscaping business, maybe I'd want to see, you can expand these as well. So maybe I'd want to see that how much people spend on lawn and garden services. You could easily look at that. Or just about, I mean, there's a lot of them. You can expand all these categories. There's about 50 to 80 of them. So you can basically find out what they spend on most anything.
And Tim, you said that it's the ESRI data. What does that stand for?
Yeah, and I hit that before. I don't know what Esri, I don't know exactly offhand.
Okay.
They among others, probably organizations, they use a lot of census data and they package it, they repackage it, and they make it available.
Okay.
So this is one thing that the Census Bureau and Esri got together, and they they gave us their consumer spending numbers.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
I mean, I knew once upon a time, but I forget offhand what it exactly stands for. Okay, let's say, let's see. I'm going to choose I'm going to go ahead and choose businesses, and I'm going to say, I want to look at the total number of non-employers and employers together for landscaping. So I go ahead and choose that and select variable. So it's going to repaint the map and show me that, for instance, and I'm in Clark County now, there's 240 non-employers and 240 landscaping businesses with employees and without employees in Clark County. And you can see here, they have a key. The blue areas are where they're the greatest. So Montgomery County and Greene County have higher total number of landscaping businesses with employees and without employees.
And you said you can just click on the county to change
like
the
if I
data.
went to here, I'm clicking on this one, and this is Clark County again. I can click on Preble County and see that Preble County has 240 landscaping, or 83 in landscaping businesses. Let's see. So like I said too, you can also do, also very important, if I was opening a landscaping business, for instance, I'd want to know, like I said before, what people are spending, where they're spending the most on lawn and garden. So I could choose that variable and select it. And I can see that once it loads, I can see that the blue actually is where they're spending the most. So you can see here, these blue counties are where they're spending the most on their lawn and garden. And Montgomery County, if you click on it, you can see that Montgomery spends just over $365 a year on their lawn and garden. So, I mean, that's one thing I'd want to know, especially if I was doing a landscaping business. Another neat feature of this is I can go to any level I want. I'm going to go to the zip code level. And again, when I go to the zip code level, I'm going to still be on what they spend on lawn and garden. The map variable is not going to change. It's just going to repaint the map by the zip codes. And you can see it's started to do that. Again, the blue zip codes are where they spend the most on their lawn and garden. So maybe that's something, someone in a landscaping business would want to look at. So let me change the map variable to, I'm going to choose my map variable as all employer establishments. So I want to see the landscaping businesses per zip code. Now, here is the landscaping businesses per zip code. The blue is where they have the most, of 8 to 18. And I can click on a zip code, and again, I can see what exactly is in that zip code. There's 12 in 45385. 12 landscaping businesses. One neat thing you can do is now you're looking at the landscaping businesses per zip code. You can go and set a filter here. So you just go add new filter. And let's say, now I know where are the most landscaping businesses already. Maybe I want to know, okay, what zip codes have the highest income? Because maybe I want to have my landscaping business, I want to cater to the higher incomes. So here I'm looking at median household income as a filter, and I'm going to select that. And once you select it, you can set the filter at what you want. I'm going to do it manually if I can. Let's see. Oh, there we go. So I'm going to say, let's say maybe I want to look at only those zip codes that meet $50,000 in median household income as a minimum and up. So I'm going to say apply filter. And what it's going to do, it's going to repaint the map according to the $50,000 and up in median household income. All the zip codes that don't meet that 50,000 or higher are grayed out. You're still looking at the number of employers, that the number of landscaping businesses per zip code, but now the ones that don't meet 50,000 or more in median household income are grayed out. You can set up to 5 filters at one time. So, I could set more filters and get rid of more zip codes if I wanted to, based on what I want. But I just thought, maybe I want to see the zip codes where how many landscaping businesses are in the zip codes. And I want to see, where's the more high dollar zip codes, for instance. One last thing I want to show you is you can also go down. I'm going to set this back to, I'm going to take this filter off. So I took the filter off and I'm going to look at total population. So I'm going to go back to customers. I'm going to look at total population again. And of course, in this example, I didn't look at housing. I would look at, when homes are built. I would look at, homes values as well. If I was in landscaping, looking to open a landscaping business, there's any number of variables that I'd want to look at. But I'm just showing you some of the main things of Census Business Builder. Let me go back to county. Montgomery. Oh, before I do that, I'm going to do one last thing. I'm going to show you, you can go down to the census tract level. And when you go down to the census tract level, all our business data is not available at that level. Only American Community Survey data is available at the census tract level. So it's all demographic and data available at the census tract level. So since I chose tract, it'll repaint the map according to my variable population by census tract. Now here you can see the census tracts, and you can click on any given census tract and see the total population in that tract. I'm not sure which count. I didn't want to do that, but sometimes it takes a while to load. So here I'm looking at, for instance, tract 1501, and I can see that has a population of 6,304. And so I could still look up, I could look up how much these people spend on lawn and garden in these census tracts. I could look up any of the ACS data that I want to see by census tract on the map. One last thing I want to show you is, I'm going to switch back to counties. So when I switch back to counties and I'm still on population, it doesn't matter what variable you're on. On the dashboard down here, you see create a report. You can click on create a report, and everything I showed you, all the ACS, all the economic data is going to be available in this report. A very simple, easy to read report. So you can see the reports broken down by my customers. That's the ACS data. Businesses like mine, that's all the economic data, the county business patterns, the economic census, and the non-employer statistics. And then you got your consumer spending. So if you look at the report, you can see here, this is from Montgomery County, since that's what I was on. You can see the total population of Montgomery County and all the different, male, female, the age breakdowns. Then you got race and ethnicity. And then you've got housing. After all that, you've got a bunch of other ACS data: poverty, employed, disabled, health coverage, how long it takes to get to work, vehicle information, veterans. So there's literally tons of ACS data available. This is all the housing data. This is a lot of stuff that I would look at if I was doing something with a landscaping business. I'd want to know, owner occupied units, maybe vacancy, maybe if I've got an internet presence, I would want to look at, how many of those households have a broadband subscription, internet subscription. And then you've got your business data now, your economic data. This is your county business patterns data. So there's 141 landscaping businesses. They average 7 per landscaping business. You can see the sizes of them. What's their payroll? How many employees? And then you've got your some of the ratios. Average revenue, 794 million or 794,000. Payroll, total number of total revenue of employers. And here's your non-employer data. These are the ones without employees. You can see there's 676 landscaping businesses in Montgomery County without employees. And they get a revenue of $126 million. Well, both employers and non-employers. Here's the QCW, the Quarterly Census of Employment and Wages from BLS. You can see 143 landscaping businesses. It went down by 16. That's maybe something you'd want to look at. How well is it doing? What happened in the past year? It lost 16 of them. Percent change. So, the landscaping business is a little bit higher in Montgomery County than it is in the United States, as indicative by the location quotient. And then you've got employment changes, all sorts of employment data. And then total wages went down, you can see in the past year. Average weekly wages. And then you've got, finally, you've got building permits. As I said, building permits are indicative of future growth. So you can see that Montgomery County has a lot in one unit buildings and also a lot of 2-unit buildings. And finally, here's all your ESRI data, I mean, your consumer expenditure data. So you can see what they spend on everything per year. So for instance, you know, if you were opening a restaurant, you'd want to know, how much are these people spending, for dinner, for instance, $1,346 a year on dinner. That's something, you'd want to know how much they spend if you're going to serve alcohol at your restaurant. You could look at that as well, $444. So that's the report from Census Business Builder. It has everything in there that you could want to be able to research a business, or if you're opening a small business.
Yeah, that's really amazing. So like the slide that you showed at the beginning that said had all the reasons that businesses fail.
Yeah.
So you're saying that just the data that's available here, if people access it, it will help them plan their business better.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Or if if they're simply researching a business, or they want to plan to open a small business, they have to look at, there's any number of things here. The basic is take all that economic data, combine it with the ACS data, and use them together. And then you've got the picture of what is going on in that area that you are looking at. And also people writing a business plan. There's a lot of data in here that can go into a business plan. That's another valuable thing it's for.
I really am amazed at, all the data that's available. I thought that, a lot of marketing information is private and you have to spend a lot of money to get it, but this is free and open, and it's amazing data.
Yeah, if Census Business Builder, you go on census.com or census.gov, I'm sorry, and then you, like I said, it's data tools and apps, and it's in alphabetical order. You'll see Census Business Builder. We also have one that's made especially there's 2 versions. This is a small business version. The other version is made for chambers of commerce. And the big difference is the one for the chambers of commerce is available on a sector level, just a 2-digit NAICS level. And the big difference is you can build your own region in the Chamber of Commerce edition. So if I wanted to put like 4 or 5 counties together and make my own region, I can do that. So, it's valuable for if you want to look at any kind of ACS data, you can build a region of your own region, and then it'll sum all those for you. And like if you wanted to look at, for instance, the number of 65 years and older in 4 or 5 counties, you can make that region and it'll tell you the total and the percent of the total, things like that. So it builds your own region and gives you, and that's what chambers of commerce, they didn't want one county at a time, one city at a time. They wanted to be able to build their own regions.
Neat.
Yeah, a good tool. Do you have any other questions?
Not right now, but I can tell, probably it takes some practice to, I don't know, to crank out those reports. Probably takes a little bit of time playing around with it. And
yeah. And like I said, it's not hard to use. It's very, there's 2 steps and you go in there and you
Yeah.
just have to kind of look at it and it's fairly simple to use. And here's my contact information. If
Okay.
anybody wants me to, explain something or they have questions about the data or they want data in any way, that's my job. So,
Okay.
they can feel free to email me at, timothy.a.sarko@census.gov.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Great. Well, is there anything else?
Not that I could think of. No, that's all I have.
Okay. Tim, thanks a lot for sharing this. I think it's great, and I'm going to be on there tomorrow or next week playing around with it. So
Yeah,
thanks a lot.
fool around with it and see, because not only if for one thing, if you're not, opening a business or researching a business, all the ACS data is there as well. So you can look at whatever you want, as far as ACS, all those variables, all that data on a map, it's easily accessible.
Yeah, it looks really valuable. And I think that, as a librarian, I definitely can use that. So even though I'm not starting a business, but I work with plenty of people that need data for different things. So
yeah,
I'm definitely going to check it out.
Yeah, and if you have, if anybody needs data or has questions about data, you can refer them to, feel free to refer them to me because that's
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
okay.
Okay, Tim, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And I've got your list of other kind of presentations that you do, and so I definitely will probably be in touch because I think this was so valuable to me. So thanks.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, anytime.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I'll see you later.
I'll see ya. Thanks.
Bye.